What's up everybody, my name is Lauran and today with David I'm going to take a look at the new Wolverine teaser. And I'm already very curious to see what kind of Easter eggs and what kind of other references we can find within this teaser. So it's actually a very interesting teaser. In the first shot we're already greeted by a bunch of unconsciousness thugs that are sitting in a bar, presumably after Wolverine did his thing. He's sitting over here, and based on this shot alone, we can already actually tell a lot about the setting of this game.
Yes, because this setting in the comics, there's actually one specific issue from 1988.
And that is Wolverine Volume 2, issue number 31, where he is in Madripoor, which is a fictional island nation in Southeast Asia. It's kind of akin to Singapore. And he is actually sitting in that bar and is being approached by some Yakuza thugs from Japan. And as he is being approached, they want to intimidate him and he is beating them up. And afterwards, well, this is basically the result of that. And that already tells us a lot about what kind of direction this game is going towards. And we can see here this thug is getting up, he's trying to approach Wolverine again. And we can see Logan here sitting at the bar taking a sip from his whiskey. And I just want to point out that this blood over here is again a specific reference to that comic issue. Because in that comic issue, in the beginning, Wolverine hides behind the counter. He is sitting beneath the counter and a Yakuza thug is leaning over the counter to search for Logan. And while he is doing that, Wolverine extends his claws through the counter into his chest, and that is basically where this blood comes from. And we can also see that in the comic itself. So that already tells us that this game is kind of following that direction, perhaps of that specific story arc. The specific story arc, by the way, is called Killing Zone. And like I said before, it started all the way back in 1988. And so there is a little bit more to this storyline, and that is that this Yakuza gang is actually producing and dealing in a drug called Thunderbolt. And Thunderbolt is a drug, it's a little pill, and it's shaped like a thunder, a lightning thunder. And basically using this, they can make themselves superhuman. So we can also kind of speculate that in this specific Wolverine game, Logan might have to take on these superhuman charged thugs.
If they are gonna follow this storyline or these comics from 1988, there are a lot of more other characters that we can expect. We have some supporting characters including Archie and Tiger Tiger. And Tiger Tiger actually is sort of a love interest for Logan Wolverine in the comics. And she actually wants to overthrow the biggest crime lord in Madripoor, who is called Roche. And with Roche there are a bunch of other villains and criminals we can also expect or maybe see in this game, including Razor Fist, who you may know from the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Sapphire Styx, Inquisitor. So it's really a question which villains they're gonna put into this game.
That's right, that's indeed very interesting. A couple of other interesting Easter eggs that we can see in the shot that I'm sure a lot of people have already talked about. That is of course this Radio Lowtown 1048 FM. And 1048, that is of course a reference to this fictional universe that also the Marvel Sony Spider-Man games take place in. That is Earth 1048. And that already tells us that this Wolverine game, of course also made by Insomniac, takes place into that same realm, in that same universe as well. Now another thing that we can read from this sign, that is Radio Lowtown. And of course this specific bar where Logan Wolverine is sitting in, the Princess Bar, is from that storyline that we called out before, and that is in this region, in Lowtown, in Madripoor itself. So Madripoor actually contains two basic large districts, and that is Lowtown and that is Hightown. And Lowtown is more of like the sub-poor neighborhood of Madripoor, and Hightown is where all the tech businesses are, the big businesses and the rich people. So that is really the distinction between the two districts. So that's already something that we can tell from just that sign. Another interesting thing that we can see over here is this register, this cash register, which bears the number 1974. And 1974 is of course the very first time that Logan Wolverine showed up in a comic at all. And that was in, and that's also very interesting, The Incredible Hulk number 181. That is a reference that we can see over here on this license plate. So a very cool Easter egg going all the way back to Logan's original comic roots. And I really like that they're putting in already so many small references in just this teaser.
Yes, definitely, because in the comic, Wolverine is actually fighting the Hulk. And actually there were rumors about Wolverine movies that Marvel was going to make. And the first movie was rumored to have this fight between the Hulk and Wolverine in Canada. So who knows, maybe we're gonna see the Hulk in the game. And maybe it's just a fun Easter egg they put in. So there's another rumor about a second Marvel Wolverine movie where he's using an alias in Madripoor because he doesn't want to be known as Wolverine there.
That's right, before Wolverine came to Madripoor, the X-Men had presumably died out or have been killed off. And because he doesn't want to be recognized as a member of the X-Men, he adopts this alias which is called Patch. And he wears also this eye patch, and that's very cool that we can already see that lying over here at the bar, because that means that in the actual game we will probably get to know Wolverine as Patch. Now let's go back to that previous shot, because we weren't entirely finished with this shot. In fact, there is one item that really caught our interest, and that is this statue over here. Now you might think, what is this weird statue? What is this beast? Well, that is actually a reference to a comic that didn't appear so long ago. It was actually Swordmaster number 4 from 2019, where Swordmaster teams up with Shang-Chi to have a look at a temple outside of Madripoor, just in the outskirts of Madripoor, that is dedicated to the gods of Madripoor. So this is actually a reference to a location outside of Madripoor, which we may or may not actually visit in the game as well. And this is presumably where the people of Madripoor go to show their dedication for the gods. And there is a specific character in the comics related to these gods, and that is Davi Naka, and she is sort of a goddess sorceress, and we can actually see her being embedded over here in that statue as well. So that might very well introduce some supernatural elements to this game as well. But to be honest, that is not really for certain. Don't take that for granted, but it could very well be the case that we're going to see some supernatural elements in this game. Now in the next shot, we see this thug coming up, standing up. He's approaching Logan and grabs a knife from his back. Of course, here we can already see some tattoos, which is of course a very signature mark for Yakuza gangs as well, so that they have these many tattoos. And this may or not be some kind of tiger figure, I'm not really sure about that. But as he is approaching Logan, of course, he balls his fist and we see his signature claws coming out, and that is the end of the teaser. So David, that is already a lot of information in just this very short 30-second teaser.
Yes, definitely, and we still have to wait for a very, very long time before we can actually get to play this game ourselves. But it's good to see that we already know a little bit more about this game.
Absolutely, I will be keeping my eye very close on this specific title, and for everything more related to Wolverine, stay tuned on Next Gen, because we will have updates regularly about this new title. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.